Alrighty, howdy neighbors, and welcome back to Deluge Threnody of Crashing Waves. Last time we learned a whole bunch about Ina, and the fact that she's the pessimist. Also Rico won, so that's cool. Anyway, let's continue. Where'd you keep the appendix document? Oh, hold on, I'll turn up the volume for you. It's a little quiet. Except for last episode where I was like screaming into the mic. Right about there. Here we go. It's on my desk. But why? Ina, if we give up now, we'll become just like the people you so despise. It's no use, Abe. Her voice sounded exasperated. It's no use. You need to understand. It's not the people. It's not like there's any honor left in anything. Quite the weather we're having. I've been dealing with reports of leaks and flooded basements all morning. I hate water. It gets everywhere. I shouldn't complain. We're fortunate. You know, this town is situated higher than the surrounding landscape. All the farmers have begun evacuating their livestock. I figured you'd brought the copies. Wordlessly, I handed him the brown paper envelope. I knew you kids would come to your senses. Politics is a game of give and take, you know. Sometimes you have to go against your beliefs, but it's the greater good that matters in the end. I hope you're right. I like you, Abe, I really do. Remind me of my son sometimes. He's just a bit older than you, studying romantic theater in the city. But unlike you, has no sense of politics at all. With him, it's all lofty principles, world peace and human rights and whatnot. He hasn't realized that once you're in a political arena, your face marred. Again, reading is not my strong suit today. With sweat and dust, that you sometimes need to make tough decisions to get your way. You're a much more worldly man than he is. You understand that no matter how good your intentions are, it's the consequences that count in the end. Leopold was beating to ramble. I had to cut him off. So you think you can solve this mess? It'll be tough. I'll need to pull some strings. Some crossbow strings, if you know what I mean. Do you know the current whereabouts of that Cooper girl? She's probably still in Ribery. Then you go there. Keep her busy. She doesn't leave. I'll meet you at the shore in a few hours. Just look at it. Beautiful Sanford house. The seat of my forefathers. Can't wait to walk through these halls again. Restored to my rightful position as Lord of the Isle. Yeah, nothing bad is going to come of this at all. It took me a while to reach Ribery. Although the trains were still running, the station was packed with refugees who'd been streaming in from the surrounding villages. The outbound train was completely empty. When I arrived at the shore, I encountered Rika, swimming intently at the turbulent waters of the lake. It was as I approached her that I grew aware of the strange murmur emerging from her throat. It was an unnatural guttural sound, like any other human speech. As soon as she noticed me, she turned around, a smile appearing on her lips. Ever since I was a child, I dreamt of water. A breathing water that permeates everything, washing ashore, rinsing away the stench. I've always hated that stench. The putrid pig excrement that the farmers throw on their fields. Oh, Abraham, I'm so glad you've come to witness this moment of glorious retribution. It's no easy task to identify when Abbot's misery began. For so many centuries, forces from outside have laid war upon us, on our traditions. Violent missionaries, greedy lords, they tried to dominate the inhabitants of our isle, ever since their first ship arrived. And this subjugation was perpetuated even after the world became enlightened. With the drawing of the modern age, their domineering interference never faltered. No, exactly the opposite was true. The embodied zeal these rational, disenchanted men came for us, the last pocket of undiluted heritage within their modern world, and their methods of cruelty became all the more methodical. Sorry for the flashbang. How can civilization become so overconfident to deem itself worthy to meddle with God's creation in such a way that it becomes fundamentally degenerated in every sense? How can you look upon such a society that has completely poisoned the land and spews corruption from every orifice? Can you truly look upon such a world without innately harboring a visceral urge to ostracize its very obliteration? It said orchestrate, but I can't read. A malevolent glare had appeared in Rika's eyes. We are one, we in this forsaken isle. Our destinies are intertwined to such an extent that disentwinement would entail a procedure akin to murder. How often have they tried to separate us? Through eviction, through coercive land deals. But all is vanity, for Abbot and its inhabitants remain one, indivisible. We would not leave our homestead behind, not even in our darkest hour. Fuck you and the flashbang. The storm grew stronger, and through my squinted eyes, though I saw a hypnotizing black ribbon winding its way through the furious waves. But now a new evil is upon us. Every century it develops new schemes, new ploys to jeopardize our very existence. Oh, Abraham, you've seen how it operates, how it attempts to demonize us through its wicked and treacherous ways. Us, the original inhabitants of this land, as though we do not have the first right to live here. We have waded through tides of darkness, wandered in loneliness. As long as we have witnessed death encroach upon our isle, standing powerless against the forces that seem greater than ours. I want to protect our world, this world that is so fragile. So much injustice has come our way over the course of centuries, all bent on destroying the small flame of hope that remained. But there exist forces that are not so easily silenced, that rest silent in impenetrable depths of endless sea and under the soil of the land reclaimed. These forces cannot be banished by human acts. They cannot die. They lie silently in wait, slowly building up a bitter resentment against humanity. Suddenly a loud voice boomed out over the shore. I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw the beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key to keep the bottomless pit and the great chain on his head. He laid hold of the dragon, that old serpent, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal on him, so that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years are finished. Leopold had appeared, the brown envelope clutched tightly in his fist. Well, old man, have you been reading scripture? I didn't know they kept Bibles in that type of hotels, in the type of hotels you frequent. A typical Huber, always eager to cast the first stone. Ready to put an end to your little scheme. I always knew your clan practiced a depraved religion. That's why my family would try to keep their distance from your demonic cult. And you should have kept it that way. There's no end to the terrors I will unleash upon the world. And you'll be the first to experience them, pathetic excuse for noblemen. What a blessing it'll be to have you cleansed off this earth. Or I've read all about your little sect. Why did it say Ina? He opened up the envelope, revealing the page within. A look of recognition flashed across Rika's eyes, and for a second she appeared to falter. Do you recognize this document? It recounts all the twisted dealings your church has been involved in. 24 copies are with my people right now, ready to be sent out to news outlets around the globe. Fuck yeah, Leopold. As the news gets out, hordes of tourists will descend upon Abbotsford, all dying to catch a glimpse of the monster. People love a good horror story, especially one that features a pretty girl. Loch Ness will pale in comparison. Is that really what you want, Rika? For your church to become a cheap sideshow attraction? For a second, Rika appeared to be pondering his words, a doubtful glance residing in her eyes. But then her victorious grin returned. You really think that will stop me, old man? Look behind me. Things have been set in motion that are too great to be averted. The pitiful era of man will come to an end. But then another much shriller voice rang out over the noise of the waves. It's over, Rika. Ina finally appeared! It was Ina who stepped out from behind Leopold. It was clear that she had come into action after I'd left, in the systemic and meticulous way that I'd grown accustomed to. I saw a determined gleam in her eyes that I found attractive beyond measure. I finally realized that I was now in the center of a time-defining events, here on this isolated, storm-washed shore. Karen has made a full recovery. She's reclaimed her chair on the student council, what the fuck? And the town council. An emergency coalition has been formed. All remaining parties have joined forces in order to regain control of the municipal water board. And there's more. The central government has declared a national emergency. Mobile pumping systems have been installed all around Marsh Boulder, and digging crews are currently restoring the drainage canals to redirect water to other pumping stations. The water level is already receding. All land will be dry within a matter of days. So give up, Rika. There is still a way out of this. But Rika had never seemed further from giving up. All trepidation had tracelessly evaporated from her being. In her eyes shone the look of a feral beast back into a corner. The expression was fanatical desperation, of someone fully reconciled to the prospect of death. You don't understand, Ina. If the pumps are restored, we'll just have to make a crack. How will you deal with a small 7-mile-long tear along the length of your embankment? Will your pumps truly be able to deal with the combined force of Earth's gravity? And then the lake erupted with a roaring turmoil, as though the endless wire that coiled within was preparing to strike. But I was almost too transfixed to notice, as all my attention was drawn to Rika's eyes, that were burning with a pure, irrational madness. The extreme devotion of an individual that had fully taken the leap of faith, was now, eternally, departed from any conventional thought pattern. And for a second, that burning fire in her eyes appeared almost alluring, and suddenly, a white flash. Whoa! Virus! The fuck? Doggett appeared out of nowhere, running up to Rika through the surf, lodging his jaws firmly into her left thigh. Rika let out a shriek, immediately losing her former composure and collapsing to the ground, while she lay swinging frantically at the biting hound. But Faris wouldn't let go. Can you believe it, Rika? That dog must have swam over 20 miles just in order to bite you. How much I'd give to be in its place. While Rika's wails of agony resounded over the rainy shore, I could sense a large being in the lake going quiet, as the line of communication with the High Priestess has clearly been severed. And looking at Rika as she lay there, writhing in pain, her thin summer dress drenched in brine and blood, I felt a rise of pity. As somewhere Ina's words had rung true with me. She was, in a sense, a dying breed. Let's get back to town. I think we're needed there. It's okay, Faris. You can let go of her now. I don't want you developing a taste for human flesh. And as we left, carrying Rika between the three of us, the lake gradually returned to its peaceful self. Yeah, fuck you. Epilogue, let's go! After a national state of emergency had been declared, extensive measures were undertaken to reclaim, once again, the portions of land that had been submerged by the flood. While the maintenance crew worked day and night to restore 3 configurable pumps that had been damaged by the explosion, additional ditches were dug to divert the excess water to pumping stations to the north and east of Abbotsford. Although the deluge had displaced many civilians and livestock, the overall number of casualties remained limited, due to the gradual nature in which the flooding had occurred. The exact cause of the disaster was never disclosed by the government, but most contemporary sources attributed the flood to a succession of extreme weather patterns that had become insufficiently planned for. Hey, the window's fixed. Sounds like a decent cover article. Let's publish it as soon as possible. Our subscriber count has been increasing again. I said we never could write about anything on that old church inquiry. I feel like our readers deserve to know the truth. At least the school board has reinstated our funding. Oh, definitely. Increased it even. Don't get any ideas, Abe. This envelope includes your back pay for the previous month. I regret being unable to pay you sooner. However, you're probably aware money doesn't grow on trees. And the good news is, your paper round will be shortened from now on. We have a new man on the delivery team. A new woman, actually. Maya is happy to do the work, and she doesn't even require reimbursement. I'll do more houses if you let me. Don't do it, Mai. Get out while you still can. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. The 3 ladies? Oh my! Hi, I have the results of the regional swimming championships. Please print them for the next issue. They should be fit for publication the way they are. Thanks, Rika. We'll definitely include them. Naomi must be so happy with her medal. Now she'll have a chance to represent the province at nationals. Rika smiled a sad smile. I'm so sorry I couldn't compete, with my leg all wound and all. I have to keep it dry until the stitches come out. If we don't end up catching a hydrophobia they always talk about. After Rika had left the office, Ina turned to me. Blaming it on her leg wound. What a convenient excuse. I imagine she isn't ready to talk about the week she spent in involuntary commitment. Well, you can't blame her. In Orthodox religious communities, mental health issues are often stigmatized. It must be hard on her to be the talk of the town. The bell rang and Mai hurried out, muttering something incomprehensible about alabaster formations. As Ina and I gathered our bags, she shot me one last meaningful glance. And as I looked back into her burning eyes, I felt a warming comfort expand throughout my chest, reassuring me that no matter what coming century had in store for us, be it the crumbling of our biosphere, the degradation of mankind, or even the entire downfall of civilization, there's no one more capable of chronicling the decline than a brown-haired girl standing there in front of me. But why does this keep saying to be continued? What the fuck? Like you're trying to shortchange me. Currently unlock the ending routes for Rika, Mai, and Ina. You'll play the remaining ending routes by loading a save file or by returning to part 4. There's still more? What do I need? What do I need? Oh, I need to tell her no. It isn't Sigurd. But the dream. It must be you. Sorry, Mai. Immediately, her eyes went back to normal. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm not myself in the moment. Sorry for causing you so much trouble. A loud knock at the door. She straightened her summer dress. Please visit me often while I'm away. And don't worry about me. She got up and opened the door. Bye. Epilogue. After Mai's departure, I returned home quietly. 3 days later, Rika came by and thanked me. She assured me that Mai was fitting in brilliantly with her new surroundings, and that my presence that night had made the transition all the more manageable for Mai. But even though I tried to find comfort, assuring myself that I made the right decision, a lingering doubt gnawed at my conscience. I questioned my decision to confine Enrica, to deliver Mai to the clutches of the church. But no matter what I told myself, that doubt remained, growing into a large dark hole, into which I gladly stepped. With Mai gone, I lost interest in everything. My grades suffered, and it wasn't long before I sank to the bottom of the class. And while spring came, the inevitable happened. I flunked my finals, condemning me to another year of school in this dead-end town. By that time, Ina had already stopped talking to me. My friendship with Rika was reduced to an incidental formality. At times I felt that, the Sunday Abbot gone, and Mai conveniently locked away abroad, my utility to both girls had evaporated. I'd been no more than a useful idiot to them. What a cruel fate to be cast aside this way. It wasn't until autumn next year that Rika contacted me, suggesting I go with her to see Mai. For my first time since her departure. Though initially planned to visit Mai regularly, her caretakers had explained that my presence would jeopardize her successful integration into the new environment. And I hadn't contested their decision, as I admit I was reluctant to face her after my betrayal. But now that Mai had settled in, there was no reason to further postpone the visit. With a heavy feeling in my stomach, I boarded the Cooper family car. It was a 1-hour drive. As we approached the German border, the perpetual stretches of endless lowlands made way for an undulating landscape of wooded vales? God, I I used to know. I'm so upset. That place was beautifully situated on one of the northern floodplains of the Rhine. Clearly familiar with her surroundings, Rika led the way to the ward where Mai's room was located. She punched in the security code that opened the door. Mai, we're here. Carefully, a pale figure scuttled toward us. Rika, I'm glad you came. And look, I brought a visitor. Mai stared at me for what felt like a full minute before Rika broke the silence. You haven't seen Abe in almost a year now. Mai's lips curled into a watery smile. Rika. I'm starting on linen duty next week. I'm really looking forward to it. Linen duty? Oh Mai, that's such a responsible task. You're settling in so well. But Mai appeared distracted. It's 1 o'clock already. How long are you staying? I have a session at 2:15. Don't worry, Mai. We can entertain ourselves for a while. Mai cast me a sideways glance. Say, Mai, you need to speak with the staff for a moment. How about you talk to Abe? The two of you used to get on so well. Okay, Rika, but don't stay away for long. I have a session at 2:15. Here she'll be back by then. Tense silence filled the room. Mai sat eyeing me suspiciously. Abe, how have you been getting on? She smiled. Very good. I'll start on linen duty next week. No. Fuck. I really like it here. Everyone's so kind to me. I looked into her eyes. Are you sure? Are you really happy you came here? From the way she drew backward, I could tell I had unintentionally raised my voice. I'm sorry. I mean, that night, when they first took you here. Don't you think we should have escaped? If you remember that night. I don't remember everything. But I know I was unhappy back in Abbotsford. They say I saw things that weren't there. That I was a danger to myself and others around me. I am so upset. But now that I live here, I haven't seen anything strange in a long time. I'm so upset. The bad thoughts are slowly disappearing from my mind. So please don't be sad. I'm very happy here. People like me shouldn't live alone, you know? But here I can do so many things. In a few years, I'll be able to move into an assisted living home. I can have my own things, even a cute pet. It's already 1:15. I have a session in an hour. I'll start on linen duty next week. As Mai sat there, droning up her day-to-day activities. I wouldn't want to flee from here. Fleeing is dangerous. It dawned on me that there was never truly such a thing as a wrong decision. I had a girl here, named Gerland? And she ran away a week ago. Or maybe it was a month ago. No matter what choice we make, in the end, life always finds a way. And do you know what happened when they found her? She had been run over by a train. A train! Do you see how dangerous that is? The moment you're not looking, and then you get run over by a train. I would never. What's the matter? Are you okay? Why are you crying? Man, fuck. That's the worst ending. That is the worst ending. Rest from Rika and Mai. What the fuck? You got everybody's endings. That's truly what you want to do. It's okay, don't be sad, we tried our hardest. Not every story can become a headline. I need to be alone now. Three more months, and then I'm done with it all. I've been much of an honor student, but recently I've changed my way. This is just the ending where I have no one! I went studying. Once and then I'm done. Big fuck. Okay. Ina ignored. We're waiting for the same bus. She turned to me. Have you noticed? It's silent. Exhausted, falls the spring, furthest away. Man. Any rest for Rika, Mai, and Ina. Those were weird sounds that were in the back. I'm sure everybody heard those. What the fuck? Turn to part 4. Oh, that's right. It starts here. Whoops. Then we drop. Pass on the offer. And then... Hold on. Pick for this one. I don't even know your own ancestors. She blushed. You always be like that. Just obey me. I'll read the letters. I see an S and E. I should inspect the fated empath. Tired, I want to go home. And then load of nonsense. I have to do I can't agree. And then we have to go through all this. There should be one more thing. There has to be something else. This is the last choice I can make. The curt rejection, a veil of self-loathing, suddenly gave way to remorse. Yeah, I'm sorry. I really enjoyed the time we spent together. I understand that you need your space, and I promise I'll make amends. But please, could you give me one last chance? Just one. This is gonna be the shortest one. I'm sorry. I understand. Then we guys gonna start talking about studying. Yeah. Endings for Rika, Mai, and Ina. No, I want to load. Yes. One last chance. Murder to catch. She smiled. It's all gonna be the same now, isn't it? Yep. There's a loud music. Yeah, there really is nothing else. That's it! But I did. Surely there's something I'm missing. I got all 3 girls. I made almost all the right decisions. I did all these. Okay. Then I guess that's it for Deluge. Honestly, it was more religious than I thought it would be. I really did enjoy the game. I thought it was cool. I thought it did a lot of... what's it called? Moment I Know stuff. Like, it had a lot of cool, like, themes that they tried to add in. Well, some things did fall short, like, you know, me trying to read because there were a whole bunch of big words. I did enjoy it. I feel like if you're looking for a challenge with reading, but also, like, a pretty well-written story, I'd go for Deluge. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you later.